Imagine a typical day in America. Cars fill the highways, people go to work, children attend school, life seems normal. Then suddenly, everything goes dark. The power grid, the backbone of modern society, has collapsed. Cars stall on the roads, traffic lights go out, communication networks go down, hospitals struggle to operate. This is not a scene from a science fiction movie. This is the potential reality of an EMP attack. An electromagnetic pulse, or EMP, is an invisible but powerful force that can cripple our technologically dependent society. This essay will explore the threat of EMP attacks. We will examine what EMPs are and how they work. We will also discuss the potential consequences of such an attack and what we can do to prepare. An electromagnetic pulse is a burst of electromagnetic energy. This energy can disrupt or destroy electronic equipment. EMPs are created in a few different ways. One way is through a nuclear explosion. When a nuclear weapon detonates high above the Earth's surface, it releases a massive EMP. This is known as a high-altitude electromagnetic pulse, or HEMP. A HEMP can cover a vast geographical area. Another way EMPs can be generated is through natural phenomena like solar flares. Solar flares are sudden bursts of energy from the sun. These flares can release powerful EMPs that can disrupt satellites and power grids. Lastly, smaller, localized EMPs can be created using non-nuclear technologies. These devices are known as non-nuclear EMPs, or NEMPs. NEMPs have a much smaller range than HEMPs. However, they can still cause significant damage to electronic equipment. The threat of nuclear war has diminished since the end of the Cold War. However, the risk remains. Some countries still possess nuclear weapons and express hostility towards the United States. A nuclear EMP attack is a real concern. Detonating a nuclear weapon at a high altitude would generate a massive EMP. This EMP could cripple the US power grid and other critical infrastructure. The resulting chaos and disruption could be catastrophic. While the threat of a full-scale nuclear war is terrifying, it is not the only way a nuclear EMP attack could occur. A rogue state or terrorist organization could potentially obtain a nuclear device. Launching even a single nuclear weapon into the atmosphere could have devastating consequences. The sun, the lifeblood of our solar system, can also pose a threat to our technological civilization. Solar storms, massive eruptions of energy from the sun's surface, are capable of producing powerful EMPs. One of the most famous examples of a solar storm impacting Earth is the Carrington event of 1859. This powerful geomagnetic storm caused widespread telegraph system disruptions. Auroras, typically seen near the poles, were observed as far south as the Caribbean. Today, a similar event could have far more devastating consequences. Our modern world is heavily reliant on electronics and interconnected grids. A Carrington-level event today could cripple communication systems, satellites, and power grids, leading to widespread chaos and economic damage. Section 5. The digital battlefield, cyberattacks, and the EMP threat. The digital age has brought about unprecedented connectivity and technological advancement. However, this reliance on technology also creates vulnerabilities. Cyberattacks, malicious attempts to disrupt or damage computer systems, are becoming increasingly sophisticated. While not a traditional EMP in the sense of a nuclear blast or solar flare, cyberattacks can target critical infrastructure and potentially cause similar effects. By disrupting the control systems of power grids, attackers could trigger widespread blackouts and damage vital equipment. Moreover, the interconnected nature of our infrastructure means that a successful cyber attack on one system could have cascading effects, crippling entire sectors of the economy and disrupting essential services. This interconnectedness makes us more susceptible to large-scale disruptions from cyber-induced EMP-like events. Section 6. The day the lights went out. Immediate aftermath of an EMP attack. The immediate aftermath of a widespread EMP attack would be characterized by chaos and confusion. The sudden loss of power across vast areas would leave people disoriented and unsure of what had happened. Communication systems would be down, making it difficult to contact loved ones or emergency services. Transportation systems would grind to a halt, stranding people far from home. Hospitals reliant on backup generators with limited fuel would struggle to care for patients. The lack of electricity would quickly impact essential services. Water pumps would cease to function, disrupting water supplies. Refrigeration would fail, leading to food spoilage. The familiar hum of modern life would be replaced by an eerie silence, punctuated by the sounds of emergency vehicles and the growing anxiety of a nation plunged into darkness. Section 7. The long road to recovery, weeks, months, years of struggle. As the initial shock subsides, the true scale of the disaster would become horrifyingly clear. The restoration of the power grid would be a monumental task, potentially taking months or even years. Damaged transformers, fried electronics, and the sheer scale of the blackout would make repairs incredibly complex and time-consuming. The lack of electricity would have a cascading impact on every aspect of life. Without functioning supply chains, food and medicine shortages would quickly become widespread. The financial system, reliant on electronic transactions, would be crippled, leading to economic turmoil. Social order would be tested as people become desperate for basic necessities. Law enforcement and emergency services, already stretched thin, would struggle to maintain order. The fabric of society, so reliant on the invisible threads of electricity and communication, would begin to unravel. Section 8. Preparing for the unthinkable. Practical steps for EMP survival. The prospect of an EMP attack is frightening. However, there are steps individuals can take to prepare for such an event and increase their chances of survival. One of the most crucial aspects of preparation is securing access to essential supplies. This includes water. Store at least 1 gallon of water per person per day for a minimum of 2 weeks. Consider investing in water filtration systems to purify additional water sources. Food. Stockpile non-perishable food items like canned goods, dried fruits, nuts, and energy bars. Aim for a 2-week supply per person. First aid. Assemble a comprehensive first aid kit containing essential medical supplies, medications, and a first aid manual. In addition to essential supplies, consider these preparations. Faraday cage. A Faraday cage is a conductive enclosure that blocks electromagnetic fields. Learn how to build or purchase a Faraday cage to protect essential electronics like radios, phones, and small medical devices. Alternative energy. Invest in alternative energy sources like solar panels or hand-crank generators to provide power for essential devices. Knowledge and skills. Learn basic survival skills such as fire starting, water purification, first aid, and self-defense. Knowledge and practical skills are invaluable assets in a disaster scenario. Section 9. A call to action, building resilience in an uncertain world. The threat of an EMP attack, while not an everyday concern, represents a potentially catastrophic risk to our way of life. It highlights the vulnerability of our technologically dependent society and the importance of preparedness. While we cannot eliminate the risk of such events entirely, we can take steps to mitigate their impact and build resilience. By understanding the threat, preparing for potential disruptions, and supporting policies that strengthen our critical infrastructure, we can collectively create a safer and more resilient future. The future is uncertain, but by embracing a spirit of preparedness and community, we can face the challenges ahead with greater confidence and emerge from even the darkest of times stronger than before.